Hi everyone. So we've got the second episode for the tactical breakdown. The first one was pretty interesting regarding like the Manchester City game because we did a lot and there is a lot that happened during the game. This is going to be about the Nottingham Forest defeat. I don't know if this is like Aravind, is this a little bit of a superstition that we should be following? Like we are doing this for defeats twice in a row.
I don't know. You could also say that 2022 a sign of things to come. The year has just begun,
But
and we've had back-to-back defeats, one cancellation or one postponement.
but still,
Not a
right?
good
Like
sign.
it is two different types of a game completely. Like City was actually a lot more to discuss, a lot more happened. It was a very positive defeat. If there is one that we could say, it's a positive defeat. Whereas like Nottingham Forest is kind of the worst defeat that we could happen.
A year and a half ago, I got into so many arguments defending Granit Xhaka. The day before yesterday's game was why I die on that Granit Xhaka hill every time.
But it's his making. He's the one who didn't take the COVID vaccine,
I
and
mean, that's a different story, but the importance of the player that Shaka is, in spite of the number of mistakes he does in a game, that was very evident on Sunday.
okay. So we'll start with the tactical breakdown
Hmm.
side of things, right? Let me try to do this. Let me try to share my screen with the with the lineup, right? Is there
Hmm.
anything like hindsight is a great thing. We know now looking back, we would say, oh, this was what, this is what, this is what. But right off the bat, is there anything in this lineup that stood out to you?
I mean, nothing. I actually thought that this team is going to come in and put a stellar performance. Before the game started, uh, I was pumped up as anybody else. Nuno Tavares, the way he was playing in the Premier League when KT was injured, then I was really hoping that he would get a chance, especially after the mistake he did against Liverpool. Bernd Leno, he definitely deserves to be he would walk into any other team's starting goalkeeper position. He's unfortunately had to be on the bench for most of our season this year. When he was in goal, I was really looking forward to that. Really looking forward to see Charlie Patino make his full debut and continue his goal scoring form that he was in. And Eddie Nketiah, that he came off a hat trick Carabao Cup performance. I was really hoping that he'd come good too. Why was I wrong?
Okay, so this is like the stats we have, right? Like we had 67% possessions. We
Mhm.
outshot them 10 shots to 7, but they had 3 shots on target. I don't remember us actually testing their goalkeeper.
No, the shots we took were all from mostly outside the box. There were two possibly, I wouldn't call it big chances. There were two decent chances in the box, one for Eddie and one for Laka. The Laka shot, the Laka chance, he was being marked like vociferously. But Nketiah, man, you gotta at least hit the goalkeeper from that location. Like this is not the first time that he's done that. I don't know if you remember the Everton game. The whole world was questioning why Eddie was bought ahead of Pepe.
Mhm.
He would get a similar chance and he would head it right onto the post, like point blank range. You have to do better than that. You're supposed to be a poacher. You don't score outside the box. In fact, I don't think Eddie Nketiah has a single goal from outside the box for Arsenal. You don't. You all you do is only tap in, and when you live on that, that's your bread and butter. Come on, what the hell are you doing? At least hit the damn target.
Actually, I was going to ask you about the attacking side of things, right? Because that's where I felt we were lacking. It was not a great defensive masterclass from Nottingham Forest. With all respect to them, they didn't do a defensive masterclass. So I thought like we would talk about the attacking side of things. This was a typical example that I had, like what I saw from the move. This was the one of the moves which ended with Nketiah shooting, taking the deflection
Mhm.
out, but it was not a great shot to start with, right?
It was a weak foot.
Yeah, to start
Beautiful
with this
shot,
move,
yes.
especially now the balls with Cedric, we can see that everyone's in position. Like we can see that NKTI is nowhere in the picture. That is what bothered me more because, like I said, playing that 9-on-10 role would find himself somewhere around this region where he would be like, you could see the two midfielders or wide forward and a midfielder of Nottingham Forest completely free. They don't have anything to do in this part of the pitch,
Exactly. Yep.
which means like
So go
yeah,
ahead. Finish up. Sorry.
which means that we are having our players away from the ball more than towards the ball. Like it's the players are not gelling or not in that thick of action. And like when it is actually played to Nketiah, and this is Cedric making the run, if you are wondering.
Mhm.
Cedric's making the run, but you can see Saka and Odegaard, they are still not bombing forward. Last episode we were talking about how our forwards or our wide players just bomb forward and like occupy the box. That is not happening here because Eddie is not the trigger. The trigger is
That's true.
Odegaard or Saka. When they move, the team moves.
So
I don't know why Eddie doesn't know that, because even in this next frame that we are seeing, Saka is waiting for his ball.
Yep.
Saka is waiting for his ball, and Odegaard's open, and we have Charlie Patino jogging over there. Actually,
Yes.
players are waiting for the ball, but nothing's happening.
So if you actually if you play that position through, you would see that there would be like a 2.5 second period where Eddie completely stops the play. He wouldn't have a clue on what to do. He'll try a few fancy footwork, but he would end up just taking it across the D and trying to take a shot off his weak foot. That was what it shows me is that you have no clue what you're supposed to be doing at that point. That's just poor preparation. I don't know if he was doing that in practice and nobody caught that, or it was just like in the middle of the heat of the moment that he didn't exactly know what to do. But if you want to be a big striker, you want to get that big contract that you're looking for, you got to do much better than that. And that's really poor. And even at that point, he had multiple different avenues to take. Charlie Patino is free. He played across the D. He can get more people involved. If he plays it to Patino and makes that run across, he could be that third. He could get that third man ball from somebody else. Those are the kind of things that you think when you apply that acumen, that footballing IQ that they call it. You would be a much better player. And in this game, Arsenal deserved much more. We should have deserved much more if we had applied ourselves a little bit better.
For me, the interesting point about this whole screenshot is that both our fullbacks are in the box at the shooting spot. Like this is actually, you could see Nuno Tavares and Cedric, both of them in the box where the strikers needs to be, which is surprising. Like, what are we trying to do? Because we know that when Tomiyasu and Tierney plays, Tierney might end up in that spot. Tierney might be somewhere in and around the box, but Tomiyasu wouldn't be. If Tomiyasu is in and around the box, Tierney wouldn't be. I don't understand what was the game plan in this whole situation.
So here is my problem with Cedric. The whole game Cedric played that day, it was a colossal out of position performance. Like, he is supposed to play right back, except for the start when we were taking a goal kick or when we kicked off from the halftime whistle or the kickoff whistle. He was only at those times was he at the right back position. Apart from that, he was never at that position. He was constantly caught out. He was ball watching for the goal, for the cross before the goal, right before halftime, or no, right after halftime. There was a chance that Nottingham Forest had. Yep, that's the one that we just passed by.
Not that. I think I have that one actually. This is the one. Yeah.
Yep, that's the one.
That Leno pulls out.
Look at Cedric chasing ghosts here. It's just he doesn't know where his man is. The huge difference between Tomiyasu and Cedric is just defined in this one picture. You have a player who is physically gifted in Tomiyasu, and he's very aware of what is going on around him. And he uses that combination to play his position excellently. Cedric, he is an experienced player. He knows his strengths and weaknesses, And as a person who doesn't have that pace that a fullback, that a high caliber fullback would possess, and he doesn't have that physicality as well, he should be a lot more closer to that person than how in front of that person he is. And because of that, he's having to track back. And with his pace, he's not going to be able to catch him any day.
Yeah, and regarding the goal, you were pretty like you made the point, right? Like, explain to me what's happening in the goal.
So look at Cedric and Ben White. If you actually play this through, when the ball is initially turned over, Ben White immediately turns around to see where number 7 is. And he also notices that Cedric is there. So Ben White actually doesn't sprint, he just jogs. He would just break into a jog trying to track back. At this point, it's possibly a 3-on-2 situation. But Ben White knows that Sambi and Cedric can come back because they have shorter distance to goal, and they can cover that. So that's what he's thinking. Now in this picture, right before this, probably a frame or a frame and a half before, Ben White would again turn back to see where number 7 is, and he would see where Cedric is. Now look at this point. Cedric is ball watching. He's not watching his man. He has no clue that number 7 has just tried to run across him, and number 7 is no longer to his left, which means now all number 7 has to do is get foot on ball, and it's a tap in, which is what happened. And Ben White, he's oblivious to all of this. I'd actually blame Ben White more here, because he should be thinking, although Cedric is here, I should try and go and clear the ball first. It's not like Ben White is trying to go and mark somebody. He should be more aware, and he should be coming on to help Cedric here. It's a failure on both the center back and the right back. I'd blame the right back more, but at this point, it's like shouting at a wall. So I'm just going to blame Ben White for this goal.
The most interesting part about like all these pictures is that, like, for me, the midfielder Lokonga is the one who's tracking back, but none other, like no other midfielder, no other forward, no other wing back has done anything to help him.
To be fair, they're all pretty high up the pitch. They're already committed. And when the turnover happens, it happens in our own half. And it was a pretty quick transition from Nottingham Forest. So there wasn't a lot of time left for people to track back. We expanded the frame. There's probably somebody right next to the referee that's trying to track back. But at that point, they already know they're pretty useless trying to track back. And they're hoping and praying that Ben White and Cedric, if he develops a pea-sized footballing brain in the middle of the game, would prevent a goal from happening. But no, it was at that point. I also think it was the fatigue of the game. And last season, these kind of individual mistakes was what cost us the entire season, actually. And this season, it's cost us the FA Cup. If I was Arteta, I'd be really pissed. I'd be showing this tape over and over again on what not to do at the 85th minute of a game.
So let's do this, right? Let's go ahead and do the player rating. I know last time we did do the player rating, but it got cut off during the edit. My fault. So let's run through it this time.
Yep.
And forget about the ratings that's on the screen, because that's what the site that I took it from. But I would like to ask your ratings, right? Let's start with Bernd Leno.
I thought Leno it was a 7. He had a pretty good game. He made a couple of excellent saves, one from a cross and one from a free kick. He would also try and come. He came out a couple of times to gather the ball. He was very commanding of his box. His distribution was pretty decent. When I say decent, he made sure that his passes found an Arsenal man and not the guy who's sitting on the sideline. And from that clean performance, I think I'd give him a 7 on 10. Goal wasn't his fault. I don't think he could do much there. But otherwise, it was a pretty neat performance from a goalkeeper.
Yeah, 7 on 10 sounds about right. How about Captain Holding?
Oh my God, I don't know if it's a combination, if it's just he's just a bad football player, or if it's a byproduct of him playing on the left side. He's pretty used to playing on the right side of the centre back, but at this level, you have to be adaptable to play across the back four should you be called upon. he was constantly dispossessed. He tried to do what Ben White does. He cannot do that. He should know that by now. He's not fast enough. So if he's gonna run and try to dribble out from the back and he loses the ball like he often does, he doesn't have the pace to track back. These are the things that should be in his mind that he has to think about before he tries all of these Robin Hood stuff. I would say 6 or 5 on 10. 6 on 10 is me being generous because he also made some
So
pretty.
5.5.
5.5 is probably somewhere where I'd land.
Okay. His partner Benjamin White, he did have like one moment where he put Saka through.
That's true. Yes, that was a pretty good ball, and that was actually the chance that Saka would create for Lacazette.
Yep.
But Lukaku would I don't know, man. Lacazette hasn't. The stat that I recently saw that Arsenal centre forwards haven't scored an away goal from open play.
It's
season.
a voodoo magic. We have been cursed that our centre forwards would not score goals. Arsenal are known for centre forwards to be lethal. Henry, we had Wright, Henry, we had Anelka, we had Van Persie. Even Giroud scored 15 goals per season.
Yeah, that's
scored 10, 15 goals per season. So
I mean, if you look at the body of work, like I said, probably stays somewhere closer to Giroud and Walcott. But you want those kind of goals that you can get that change a game when you're playing really bad. And when I say that, when you look at the United versus Aston Villa game that happened yesterday, United tried their best to lose that game. My God, they were horrible. It was like Villa were playing at their home and United were just playing with one leg tied up and hopping around on the ground. That's how it was, and they still won it 1-0. Those are the kind of games that you need your centre forward to just score that one freakish goal, that tap in that nobody expects. And experienced player like Lacazette, you expect that of him.
So before Lacazette, Benjamin White.
Nevertheless, Benjamin White, I'd say 6.5.
6.5.
Should have done better for the goal.
Okay. Soares, Cedric Soares, your favorite?
Yeah. If Atletico Madrid are serious about him, which I think they probably backtracked after they saw this performance, if they are serious, they should take him. I'd probably pay the bus fare myself. I'd give him a 5 on 10. He was constantly caught out of position. He took a free kick. The ball, I don't know where it went. It definitely wasn't anywhere in the ground. Jesus, man, I saw that one kick and it summarized his entire game. That was how poor he was.
Okay, Tavares, he was being substituted at like the earliest that we have seen Arteta do. So, Nuno,
I think he should understand that the trailblazing attitude that he comes with, he needs to kind of pull that back to a great extent, unless he can start to produce things on the pitch. He is a left back. He should know his position. He cannot be wandering in the pitch. He should know when to take his shots. He should know when to pass the ball. Like, these are basics from a footballer. He didn't do that in the 30 minutes that he played. It was just horrible to watch. It was like he was begging to be subbed, to be pulled out, and that was poor in my opinion. And I would give him a 4 on 10. He was just.
Ooh.
Yeah, he was abysmal.
Okay, so Charlie Patino, the kid from the block.
Oh man, I had so much hopes for him. I thought he'd come a lot better. He had a 5 on 10 performance in my opinion. He was missing for large parts of the game. It had to do a lot with Nuno Tavares being Nuno Tavares. Nuno Tavares, the way he played, he single-handedly took both Martinelli and Patino out of the game. And that reflected in the number of touches that Martinelli had in the game. So from that standpoint, I'd say Patino, I'd give him a 5 on 10.
Lokonga
was actually pretty decent until he turned the ball over for the goal. A bit unlucky in my opinion because VAR wasn't there for this game, but I thought there was a handball in the build-up. But you can't be turning over the ball as a midfielder in that position when half your team is committed up front. Because of that, I'll give him a 6 on 10. But otherwise, I thought he had a pretty neat performance. He was trying to link up play. He was trying very hard. It was pretty evident. He tried his best to fill Party's shoes. It's not Party, but you can see that we got something pretty good in our hands here.
Yeah, he's still young. He still has
Yep.
growing to do. Bukayo
Yep.
Saka.
Saka, I think he's shown me so many amazing displays. Like yesterday felt like a 3 on 10 performance, or Sunday felt like a 3 on 10 performance. I'm being really harsh because the two big chances that we had both came from Saka creating them, and he started to make that move away from the fullback and cross the ball in. He started to make that his bread and butter. He had probably a 6 on 10 performance, but it was far from the Saka that we've seen in the past 10, 15 games.
I'll hold you to 6 on 10 over there, because 3 on 10 sounds so harsh when you have given us 4 on 10.
I know. I'm being overly dramatic, only because it's the bar that Saka has set for himself. If anybody is to blame, it's Saka for doing that. If Saka were to look at this game tape, he'd probably rate himself 3 on 10 too.
Okay, so Odegaard, the number 10.
Odegaard, when Lacazette is playing in front of him, he's a completely different player compared to when Eddie Nketiah is playing in front of him. Laka is a little more physically gifted than Odegaard is. So in the middle of the field, when Laka receives the ball and he tries to play Odegaard through, Laka's already taken two people out of the game on the opponent side. And that gives Martin Odegaard a lot more freedom and space to move around, play that ball. He has the freedom to roam around. Eddie Nketiah was just not present. He camped in the Forest D. He would rarely track back and go deep to get the ball, try to link up play, and Odegaard had to do a lot by himself. I'd give him a 6.5 on 10. He didn't do something that was astounding to me, but nevertheless, it was a pretty decent performance.
Gabriel Martinelli.
He took a yellow card for the team. That was something that I actually liked. I think that kind of tactical fouling is pretty important as we're starting to play a little more intelligently. But it was an unfortunate downside of Nuno Tavares playing the way he was playing and Charlie Patino going missing for large parts of the game. I'd say a 6 on 10. He didn't have a lot to do with the game that impacted the game in any way.
Our forward, Eddie Nketiah.
I think if I had to pick my biggest disappointment of the game, it was Eddie. Like with Holding and Suarez, I know that they have ceilings and they can only do so much, and expecting anything more from them is my fault. But Eddie, he's shown like really good performances in the cup games before this season. He started this season playing in the preseason and left back position, and he was kind of good. I was actually hoping that he'd have a lot more contributions to the regular season. I was one of the few folks, totally in the minority, that was hoping that Eddie Nketiah could actually play on the left wing when Laka or Aba are playing in the team, and he could have a lot to contribute. I still hope for that. I would still back that call, but maybe for yesterday's game, it was just a shocker, and Eddie was downright abysmal.
Okay, so our three substitutes. Let's do this quick. Just the numbers, right? For Tierney,
I'd say 5 on 10.
5 on 10. Lacazette.
He didn't play a lot to get any rating. I'd say a 4 on 10, but if he'd probably scored that goal, that would have been a 9 on 10 performance.
And Kolasinac.
I honestly don't know what he came into the game for. I don't know what he was doing, where he was playing. I don't know if he knew that. He played for 3 minutes. He doesn't deserve shit.
So there you go, folks. That's the rating part of it. We tried to do as much as breakdown that we could about the attack and defense. And if you still want to see more of this, do comment in what you saw in the game that we missed. And please like, share, and subscribe. That's all I would say. Thanks, Aravind. Thanks for joining in today. And hopefully the next game we would meet after victory for the first time.
in 2022. Yes, thank you for having me. Let's go Arsenal, up the Arsenal, get to Liverpool and kick their ass. Come on, you Gunners.
Gunners.